All right, everybody, here it is. This is the big moment. We need to blow up our asteroids. Blowing up asteroids is all about checking for collisions, and that's something we've done in previous courses. So what I think I'll do is I'll put in, some sort of information about um, our size of our asteroid, our bullet, our spaceship. And that is going to mean that, pretty much all these things need a size, really, when we start thinking about collisions. So I'd like to build that into the game object. So game objects are also going to have some kind of a size. What about, mm, should we call it size? I guess size is fine. I was going to say diameter. And that's like a diameter of the collision. So maybe D is pretty good. Just call it D. Are we going to add to the constructor? Probably should. It would be nice to be able to specify like our diameter. That's going to break things a little bit. So we could manually choose our diameters in the individual constructors. That would be fine. So you can kind of choose where we do it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's probably good to put into a constructor. So at the risk of breaking a bunch of things, I would suggest adding in the diameter into these as options. So I think that would be the cleanest solution. I think for the purpose of this video, I'll just manually put in some diameters for things, and then we can tune that up for a future sort of activity that I'll leave you guys to do. So for bullets, I've already sort of chosen. I've said 5 is my diameter, so no problem. Let's do that. I can say d equals 5, and then I'll draw it with a circle that is d wide. So now other parts of my code will just intrinsically understand that this is the size of the bullet. Same with asteroids. I have this kind of rando thing here. This is the size lives times 50. So why don't I just set that to D? I can say D equals lives times 50. So whatever the lives are, I will be happy to be able to make that work. Okay, so let's see. So I think I haven't broken anything. Yeah, everything seems to be working okay. So now asteroids know how big they are, and bullets know how big they are. So we can write some code for determining collisions. And this code is going to be exactly like the code from Pong or Breakout in terms of checking for a collision. We're basically going to compare the distance between a bullet and an asteroid, and we're going to see if the distance is less than the sum of their radii. And that's explained in other videos, so I won't go into it too much. So where should we put that code? Should we put it in the bullet? Should each bullet be checking for collisions with asteroids? Should we put it in the asteroid so that each asteroid is checking collisions with the bullet? There honestly isn't really a right or wrong answer. Those are both good places to put things. I think that asteroids is a good place though, because asteroids need to check for collisions with spaceships and bullets. So maybe we'll just centralize it in the asteroid. So I'll do a check. And I think actually in spaceship, I might have said check for collisions here. I don't know if I'm still down with that design or not. We'll see. We could definitely still use this function later on. But I think in terms of my asteroid, I'll check for collisions. Well, I think maybe any of these things might want to check for collisions. I wonder. But here's the story behind it. Maybe we'll move this to the superclass. But for now, we'll put it in asteroid. So this is going to be a void function. And what it's going to do is it's going to loop through all the game objects. And in particular, right now, we're going to look for bullets. So I'm going to write a loop. It's going to be remarkably similar to our loop here. I think that's actually a really good model for it. This stuff will change, but the remainder of it from our engine is going to be the same. So I'm going to put in a int I equals 0, while I is less than objects dot size. We are going to get an object out of the list. So objects.get I. And we're going to say something along the lines of game object current object equals objects.get I. It doesn't seem to like that. Oh yeah, it's just because I haven't used it yet. And then we're going to do I++ to move on to the next one. So what do we do here? So I guess we want to check to see if we're colliding with a bullet. So we can say, we can check to see if this object is a bullet or not. Right now we're not going to collide with asteroids. I think that might be interesting to make asteroids bounce off of each other at some point. But at the moment, we're not going to worry about that. So we're just going to have checking for bullets. So I can check to see if current object is an instance of the bullet class. So this instance of, I spelled current wrong. That doesn't help. Int object. So instance of basically checks the class of this object. And if it's a bullet class, then this if statement will run. So it'll weed out non-bullets. So if it's a bullet, I gotta see if it's colliding with me. So I can check to see if the distance, dist function, I guess, is just dist, between our x and our y. Oof, you know what? Current object is just going to be so painful. I just can't abide. Like I said, I have to type in current object dot location dot x. It's just too big. So I'm going to rename this variable. A common name. Oh, it didn't show up. I'm not sure where it is. Anyways, I'll just rename it manually. I'm just gonna say obj. It's a very common acronym for just a kind of generic object. So this is gonna be our bullet. You know, if we've gotten into this line of code, then obj must be a bullet. So check our bullet's position. So that's the distance between the asteroid and the bullet. We'll see it's less than the sum of their radii. So d divided by 2 plus object.d divided by 2. Ooh, so that's a lot going on. If you don't remember your Pong code, then that's going to be a bit tough. So do call me over if you're not sure how that works. So we're checking to see again, hey, is the object a bullet? And if it is a bullet, is it touching us? Is that circle intersecting with our circle? If it is, we should probably blow up the asteroid. So we can just make it disappear for now. So we can say lives equals 0. We should also make the bullet die too. So we can say object.lives equals 0. Okay, so this loop will process, you know, for every frame, it will go through all the list of objects, find the bullets, and check to see if we're colliding with the bullet. And if it is, it'll kill the asteroid and kill our our bullet as well. So let's just see. Does it work? Does it work? Time will tell. Ready? I'm gonna shoot. Fire. Boom! It worked. Yes. It blows them up very handily. I'm bad at this game. There we go. Now that's not actually how the asteroids are supposed to die. They're supposed to split into, you know, smaller asteroids. So stay tuned for the next video where we'll see how we can make them split. Okay. Thanks everybody. Hope you're enjoying.